you to know that the mothership has landed.
It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
What's up, my brother? I want permission to come aboard the mothership.
Asking permission to join a sports talk spaceship? Well, we're all a little crazy. The mothership has connected.
The mothership.
Let's come aboard.
Happy Thursday to you, North America. The mothership has connected. Welcome aboard. It's the 4-hour Chaos Theory Kegger. DA with you from the CBS Sports Radio studios in New York, broadcasting to affiliates nationwide and north of the border. Anchorage to Atlanta, Peoria to Pinehurst, Kalamazoo and Waterloo. Hey, you're on the air.
They listening, D.A. Everything we saying, D.A. Everything.
Thanks so much for dropping on by. We come to you live from the Rocket Mortgage Studios. Need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family? Guess what? Rocket can. Hey, glad you decided to stop on by this morning's show because we got a good one coming up for you on this fine Thursday. Coming up in hour number 4, the AD, Athletic Director of UCLA, Martin Jarmond, is going to join us on the show. Now, this is a very timely spot because of the ripple effects of what's going on with Oklahoma and Texas, and some speculation that the leftover pieces, the 8 schools left in the Big 12, could have a future perhaps with the Pac-12, or upon seeing Texas and Oklahoma leave for the SEC, that the Pac-12 would try to expand and save itself and its security. So with the movement of Texas and Oklahoma, there are so many athletic directors out there that are having significant conversations and conferences doing the same thing. To have UCLA's AD, Martin Jarmond, on the show this morning is going to be a very insightful and interesting spot. He joins us in hour 4. Also in hour 4, more Sounds of Saturday. Our daily preview of the top 25 in college football heading into Labor Day weekend continues with Penn State today. The voice of the Nittany Lions, Steve Jones, is going to join us coming up here on the show as well in hour number 4 also. Elsewhere this morning on the show, we've got your Olympic Minute in about 40 minutes from now. Speaking of realignment, the Big 12 is calling out and pointing fingers at ESPN for having a hand in their demise. We will ask a very significant question. Was my attempt at Canadian bacon as bad as Mraz and Bogish made it out to be yesterday? Or upon further review and 24 hours removed, does it look better in hindsight? And in New Orleans, Sean Payton is unhappy with his star wide receiver. All of that this morning on the show, so hit me up on the phones if you want to jump into any of those topics at 855-212-4CBS. That's 855-212-4227. And on Twitter as well, DA on CBS. And there is one glorious thing about having the Olympics held in a time zone many, many countries away, halfway across the world. And that is that we have live events going on right now. And that includes fencing. And so I am locked in right now to the NBC Sports Network as there is a crucial, gut-wrenching, dramatic fencing match going on between Italy and the U.S. I will keep you updated, and I assume that Andrew Bogish will as well. Live breaking events and sports happen right here aboard the DA show, aboard the mothership, when Olympic competition extends into a billion time zones away. But we begin, of course, with Aaron Rodgers, because yesterday Rodgers held a more than half-hour-long press conference and was extraordinarily honest and candid about his relationship with the Packers, the timeline of how it all went down, where he stands right now, and what went so wrong. And if you thought that Aaron Rodgers might just give you the cliche and trite athlete answers, you'd be sorely mistaken. Rodgers deserves credit yesterday, no doubt about it, for not doing that, not poo-pooing anything, not slamming the media for creating something out of nothing, for simply trying to get out of it with the least amount of transparency, the least amount of answers possible. He did not handle it like so many other athletes do. Bury it, play deflection and defense, and act as though everything is fine. Rodgers did not, but it makes sense. It's on brand. Rodgers is not the type of guy that's going to necessarily play nice and just throw out the normal cliches. So I thought that by and large yesterday, Rodgers came off really well. I thought that he struck a really good balance between honesty and disappointment in the organization, but also detailing the facts from his standpoint of why it happened instead of being overly general and vague. This wasn't I'm just unhappy, or they haven't listened to me, or I don't like them, yada, yada, yada. This was a detailed explanation of the things that he felt the organization did not do. And it wasn't coming from a place of anger, vitriol, spite. It was a very even-handed, even-keel, level-headed A, B, C, D. And I think when you approach something like that and explain it like that, it gives other people a way to see it through your lens. It's not easy, but he did do that. So I thought he accomplished a lot yesterday. And I thought Rodgers came off really well. And I think it was easier to see because he had been uber vague throughout the entire summer. It was easier to see where he was coming from. I thought the hammer of Thor from Aaron Rodgers was going through the list of veterans that the Packers had not re-signed or had lowballed with an offer or had not, quote, treated with the proper respect for players of their stature that really hit home what Rodgers wanted to make a point of. Rodgers said it wasn't about the money, that the Packers eventually came to him a couple of months ago and said, we'll make you the highest paid quarterback. And he said, it's not about the money. And players can say that, but it's hard to believe it. But when Rodgers went through his list of, quote, high character guys that had left the Packers, and he was unhappy with their departure and was unhappy that the Packers front office didn't take his advice in keeping those guys around, I thought it was really effective. Now, the Packers, I'm sure, would tell you, well, we can't afford to keep everybody around. Part of the reason why we're competitive every year is because we make difficult free agent decisions. We don't overpay for guys at the back end of their careers. We're doing quite well, thank you. We're in the postseason every single year. But you could understand where Rodgers is coming from when he's lining up guys like Jordy Nelson, like Charles Woodson, like Julius Peppers. The list went on and on and on. And he said, boom, 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 boom. We let all of these guys go. I said don't do it. I watched this entire talent drain happen over the years, high character guys, and I'm sick and tired of it. I thought that was really effective because then that is Aaron Rodgers not just talking about his own situation, but defending his teammates and the quality of his locker room. So like I said, I think Rodgers did a lot of good for his cause yesterday. I do think there was a part of this whole Rodgers situation that was portrayed as a nuclear bomb where it never really was. The way that Rodgers, to me, detailed it, it was a building frustration with personnel decisions for many, many years. And then somewhat of the icing on top is they draft his replacement, and then after his MVP season, they don't immediately pivot off of that plan and give him a bunch of cash. He wanted the love, he wanted the respect after the MVP season, and the Packers were kind of detached and aloof and businesslike, and that compiled with years of them not taking his advice on who to keep around finally kind of broke the camel's back. And so that when this started going through the summer and Rodgers was obviously distancing himself from the Packers, what Rodgers was doing was basically clanging pots and pans. Hey, listen to me. Hey, look, I'm not happy. Hey, I'm going to leak stuff to Adam Schefter to let everybody know that I'm not happy. And since I'm not happy, I'll go out and I'll try to find a trade partner. And then the Packers said, well, we're not trading you. And then Rodgers was unhappy, and that's when the Packers came back and said, okay, well, let's fix the money. And that's when Rodgers said, well, it's not about the money. At no point there is it as nuclear and seismic as some would have had you believe over the summer. At no point was it truly these two sides can never work together again. And that was something that I constantly pushed back on. I didn't like that narrative that came out of some media members of the bridge is burned, everything's burning to the ground, you have to trade Aaron Rodgers right now, they can never work together again. I didn't view it as dramatically as that, and it clearly wasn't as dramatic as that. Now, I say all of this, and I think, again, Rodgers proved himself a really important point. I really do. But I did think there were a few missteps in there as well, where Rodgers said a lot of good and then had a few shots that were probably unnecessary and might have undermined what his overall message was. Were there any moments where Rodgers made himself look worse? It is where we begin. Your cold open.
A lot of things that transpired. This wasn't, a draft day thing. This was started with a conversation in February that the season ended, and I just expressed, my desire to be more involved in conversations that directly affected my job. I think we can all understand, Green Bay isn't, a huge vacation destination. People are coming here to play with me. To play with our team and knowing that they can win a championship here. And the fact that I haven't been used in those discussions was one I wanted to change moving forward. And I felt like based on my years, the way I can still play, that should be a natural part of the conversation.
I don't believe it!
The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending.
It's DA's top story.
Here he goes!
It's your cold open.
That part of it, I thought Rodgers made it about his own ego, and 95% of everything else he said was not about that, made logical, practical sense, and that's where I thought it was a misstep by Rodgers. Because number one, if you're looking at it from a Packers front office standpoint, they're saying, well, we don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is going to be great, and if we have him pitch to free agents, come here and play, and we move on from Aaron Rodgers, well, then suddenly we look stupid to the eyes of whoever just signed if we've got him on the hook for the next 4 years, and now his quarterback is Jordan Love. We've already sunk his belief in that quarterback or what have you. Now, if we want to go back 7 years ago and why Rodgers wasn't used as a salesman, as an ambassador for the Packers, I could totally understand that. But now, in recent years, if you've decided already that you see the end of Rodgers as a Packer nearing, you wouldn't use him then as a sales guy for your franchise. So that actually, to me, made more sense from a Packer standpoint. The other part of this, though, is when he says, guys are coming here to play with me. That is really self-absorbed because the most famous free agent in NFL history signed with the Green Bay Packers before Aaron Rodgers was ever there. In fact, he signed with the Green Bay Packers when Aaron Rodgers was like 9 or 10 years old. Reggie White in 1993 is the first huge NFL free agent. The NFLPA had just fought and battled for years for free agency. And in that offseason, Reggie White does a tour of the NFL. He goes to 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 different destinations because everybody in the NFL at his peak is wooing one of the greatest defensive players ever. And Reggie White, before Brett Favre is really Brett Favre, before the Packers of Mike Holmgren were the Packers of Mike Holmgren, in 1993 decides, against all other competition and opposition, the Green Bay Packers are where I want to play. And Reggie decides this because of the history of Green Bay, the legacy of Vince Lombardi's championships, Lambeau Field, the community, riding your bike there during training camp, all of those wonderful, unique concepts and dynamics that are in play because of the Packers. And Reggie White says, I want to be part of this. Aaron Rodgers can't say that nobody signs with the Packers because it's just the Packers. It's got to be about him. Plenty of guys through the years signed with the Packers because of the Packer thing. Now, certainly, wide receivers want to play for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I totally get that. And certainly a free agent would go there and say, hey, this is good eating here because Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback. But you can't say that the legacy, the history, the championships, the community, all the things that make the Packers so beautiful, you can't say that that's not also alluring. Because for Rodgers, here's where his ego gets in the way. The Packers were the Packers before Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers will be the Packers after Aaron Rodgers. They won Super Bowls in the 60s before Rodgers was born. They won a Super Bowl and went to back-to-back ones in the 1990s when Rodgers was just a tyke, teenager. And they'll win Super Bowls in the future. Who knows how long that'll be? Probably not with Jordan Love, maybe with Jordan Love. But the point is that stuff is bigger than just Rodgers. And that's where I thought that Rodgers put himself on a pedestal unnecessarily high when it came to the organization that he plays for. I did think, though, by and large, Rodgers acquitted himself well, and it was a pretty solid half-hour conversation that he had and was really honest and transparent and unveiled a lot of the stuff that frustrated him, and it made a lot of sense. 855-212-4CBS or on Twitter, DA on CBS.
Oh, okay.
When we come back here on the show, more NFL offseason news. The training camps are now here in New Orleans. Sean Payton is unhappy with one of his stars for the timing of his surgery. We'll hear that clip coming up next in Dissect. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
Sweatpants at Work Zone.
How many burritos can Mraz eat? 1 burrito. 2 burritos. 3 burritos. 4 burritos. 5.
It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
The Save of the Week, sponsored by Credit Karma Money. Open your free FDIC insured account with no minimum balance, no overdraft fees, and free withdrawals. Go to creditkarma.com. How about USA goalkeeper Matt Turner producing a remarkable full extension diving save to stop a blistering shot from Jamaica's Junior Flemings in the 39th minute of the Gold Cup quarterfinals on Sunday night. The save turns out to be critical as the red, white, and blue would go on to win 1-0 and send them to the semifinals, which are tonight. That's your Credit Karma Save of the Week. Listen to us here on the show each and every day by streaming us. You can do that not only on the CBS Sports app and the Odyssey app, but you could also listen to us on your smart speaker. Wake up with us.
Come on, Damon. Wake up.
Tell your smart speaker to play CBS Sports Radio. So Michael Thomas, star wide receiver of the New Orleans Saints, did not have surgery done in February or March or May. Instead, waited until June to have the surgery, the procedure done. Mickey Loomis, the GM, seemed to suggest that this was because they wanted to see if it would heal on its own without surgery, just with rest and relaxation. But instead, once it wasn't improving, they went ahead and did the surgery. Here was Sean Payton on the maneuver.
Disappointing, and we'll work through it with the other players that are here. But the surgery took place, and obviously, we would have liked that to have happened earlier than later. And quite honestly, it should have.
So when he says we would have liked, it absolutely makes it sound like it was Michael Thomas who was standing in the way of having this procedure and this surgery, and now they're behind the eight ball because of it. So now he's not playing, and ankle issues forced Thomas into playing a career-low 7 games last year. And it absolutely is part of this kind of friction between Thomas and the organization, contractually, money-wise, and frankly, for the Saints adjusting to life after Drew Brees, this is a significant blow. Thomas, when healthy, is one of the best wide receivers of the game. When healthy, could be the best route runner in the game. And if it's going to be Taysom Hill, he of many gadgets, or Jameis Winston, he of eating the W, having Michael Thomas out there is far better than not. And this is a division now where I don't think you could just give it to the Saints. I certainly don't think that this Saints offense is going to be without some trials and tribulations. I certainly think that the Saints will go through some growing pains this year. Whether it's Hill or Jameis, there's going to be moments, I'm sure, in the first half of the season where it doesn't look right. And I know that Drew Brees didn't have the arm strength the last 2 seasons, and that Drew Brees at times, even significant injuries the last 2 years, and the Saints offense seemed to just pick up where he left off. But it's far different for Taysom Hill or Teddy Bridgewater to come in for 4 or 6 games in relief and kind of just bridge the gap until Drew Brees can come back versus starting out the season with somebody other than Brees, other than a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback under center that has understood the offense for a decade and a half, and expect to just kind of run the offense smoothly. You've got weapons there, Alvin Kamara, etc. But whether it's Hill or Winston, not having Michael Thomas in there is no question a significant downgrade over your skill position guys. So who knows when this rectifies itself? Who knows if this is something that kind of hangs over the entire organization's head over the season? Who knows even when Michael Thomas is back, whether he's truly healthy because of all the ankle issues last year. But there's reason to wonder about what the Saints really are now, making a transition post-Brees and doing so without their best wide receiver over the last decade. Out of that division, Mraz, NFC South, what's your power rankings?
You have to obviously go Tampa Bay 1, and I really do think it's this mixed pot. I'm going to lean Saints because I trust the coach so far more than any of the other coaches, but I don't trust the quarterback situation and any of the other losses New Orleans had. So after that, I'm probably going to go Carolina on the rise because I think Sam Darnold takes a step, and I'm still going to go Atlanta 4 despite the fact that Matt Ryan's back because, frankly, they were terrible last year. I don't think adding Kyle Pitts changes much, and they dumped Julio Jones.
Wow, no respect for Arthur Smith, huh? I mean, how many times did we say that the Falcons underachieve, that Dan Quinn didn't get as much out of them as he should?
I completely agree, and I think they will be better coached. But we still don't know what Arthur Smith is as a head coach. How could I put him there over any of these head coaches that we've seen coach before? I can't. And They did get rid of Julio Jones. Like I think we've gotten past the point now of understanding what the Falcons are. We're going to find out if they drastically underachieve, but maybe they really do just stink, and they'll continue to stink.
It feels like it's Tampa Bay, and then the other three teams are completely volatile. That they could be great, probably not great, but they could be good or they could be bad. All three of those teams could be a last-place NFC South team. I think the Saints could be a last-place team.
They definitely could, and if you base it on the NFL schedule rollout and getting premier games, premier spots, networks, all of this, the NFL almost anticipates the Saints still being really, really good. But with Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, are we really thinking, and now Michael Thomas out for almost half the year maybe, we really thinking the New Orleans Saints going to be that special a team again?
They've got a bunch of primetime slots?
Yeah, I mean, well, right off the bat, week 1, they're playing Aaron Rodgers in that late Joe Buck game on Fox. They have a couple big Sunday night games. I was looking through the schedule. They're on Thanksgiving night versus the Bills. So, to me, the NFL is putting them all in these spots. That's anticipation of the Saints are going to be really good this year. And I know Drew Brees wasn't great, but we're putting a lot of stock on a team led by either Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill to still be a big-time playoff contender.
Both those guys have major questions. Taysom Hill going to be a starting quarterback for 17 games this year? And if not, is Jameis Winston winning the job, or is he being given the job by default because Peyton realizes that Taysom Hill's not a 17-game quarterback?
I think it's actually the most fascinating camp battle in all of the NFL in August.
That's your number one camp battle?
That is. I mean, give me a break with Teddy Bridgewater versus Drew Lock.
No.
It's got to be Taysom Hill versus Jameis Winston because it's a Sean Payton-led Saints team.
Hit me up on Twitter, DA on CBS. Again, DA on CBS. Now, Andrew Bogus joins us for our headlines this morning. And, Bogus, I don't know how locked into the Olympics you are, but you know our Twitter handle, DA Show Quotes. Now, this is not run by us. This is a fan account. But DA Show Quotes routinely takes the ridiculous things said in the show and tweets them out in real time. And it's just a marvel of a Twitter handle. You're a big fan, correct?
I am, very much so. I actually always check it after we do something funny to see how they're detailing it for us.
Did you see this morning, really early this morning, perhaps really late last night, I saw this on my timeline as I came into work today, that they have found, DA Show Quotes, whoever runs that account, pictures of Olympians that look exactly like all of us on the show?
No.
It is amazing. The guy that plays you in a movie, or the guy that you play in a movie, in an Olympic movie, is a dead ringer. So is my guy. And they found a swimmer, I don't know who this guy swims for, that is a dead ringer of Bilotti. It's amazing. So I'm going to tweet this out. You're going to love this.
Oh, I don't like the body one. That's freaky.
Okay, so you're seeing it right now.
I just found it. Yeah, I don't like that. That's too bizarro for me.
It actually really looks like Bilotti, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how amazing to find 3 different Olympians. Now, you might be asking yourself, what about Mraz? Mraz is not so much an Olympian as much as it is a young Japanese chubby boy blowing out candles with tassels on his moobs.
Hey, that's actually demoralizing that you guys can look like Olympians, and DA at CBS Quotes tried really hard, and there's no shot I could come across as an Olympic athlete.
Although that young Japanese boy with tassels on his moobs really does look like you as well, just with hair. He does look like you.
But he's blowing out a lighter with tassels.
There was a moment when I looked at this and I said, are these like deep fakes where somehow DA Show Quotes took our faces and put them on Olympians? But no, he just found, or she found, whoever runs this account, 4 different people with gifs or pictures that look exactly like us. Bogues, I mean, your guy, who is, by the way, spittingly handsome, is a dead ringer as well.
Yeah, and your fencing guy is intense too, but I'm stuck now on Sean and his moves and his. Those are plungers, are they not? Those are plungers, not tassels. Okay. So maybe that's it. Listen, there are new sports this time around. Every time a new host country gets a game, they can put a couple of events in. Maybe this is popular in Tokyo, and now this is a new event this year.
I'm retweeting all of these. It's just too good. I don't know how DA Show Quotes found this, but it's just freaking awesome. So Bogues does have our headlines, and I'm sure Olympic news in the middle of it. What we got?
Football is back, don't forget, guys. Celebrate this Saturday by watching all 32 teams take the field for the first ever Back Together Saturday. NFL Network has you covered, all-day coverage across the league on July 31st. So an amazing twist in this Oklahoma-Texas SEC story yesterday. The Big 12 sending ESPN a cease and desist letter accusing the network of trying to sabotage the league. In particular, the Big 12 believes ESPN was encouraging another conference, the American, to poach Big 12 members so Oklahoma and Texas could leave for the SEC without financial punishment. ESPN says the claims have no merit. The American would not comment. Also not commenting is Yankee manager Aaron Boone on the pending acquisition of Joey Gallo.
There's nothing official in that regard. I heard the same things, frankly, even coming from the stands and things. And guys coming on the bench, but I haven't even talked to Cash yet. So as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to comment on.
That was after a 3-1 win in 10 in Tampa Bay. The Yankees reportedly sending multiple prospects to the Rangers for Gallo, but the deal not done yet. The Brewers have officially acquired infielder Eduardo Escobar from Arizona. Then they beat the Pirates 7-3, maintaining their 7-game lead on the Reds atop the Central. Cincy an 8-2 win at Wrigley. Joey Votto 2 more homers for a 5-game homer streak. The Dodgers blanked the Giants 8-0. The Mets held off the Braves 2-1. The Angels outscored the Rockies 8-7. Shohei Ohtani, homer number 37. And the Red Sox and Blue Jays traded 4-1 wins at Fenway. Dak Prescott dealing with a muscle strain in his shoulder. He left yesterday's Cowboy practice early with discomfort after some throws. A precautionary MRI showed the strain. More American success today at the Tokyo Aquatic Center, led by Caleb Dressel, taking gold in the 100-meter freestyle. It took everything out of him.
Right now I'm just kind of hurt, but it's a really tough year. It's really hard. So to have the results show up, it really came together, so I'm happy.
That's Dressel post-race on NBC. This is his first solo gold after 3 in relays. Bobby Fink won gold in an upset in the 800-meter freestyle. Katie Ledecky rounded the U.S. to silver in the 4x200 free relay, and Regan Smith and Haley Flickinger won silver and bronze in the 200 butterfly. Novak Djokovic just beat Kenya Shakuri in straight sets to reach the Olympic semifinals, so Djokovic is 2 wins away from gold, which would then mean he could win the Golden Slam at the U.S. Open. And DA, I've got your fencing on right now. Nothing is happening, so I have no update for you except for the fact they have very dramatic lighting at the fencing venue. So it looks great. It looks very dramatic and impressive, but there's no actual fencing happening at the moment. The NBA draft is tonight. The Pistons on the clock. We're still assuming they'll take Oklahoma State's Cade Cunningham. And recapping day 1 of NHL free agency, he was our Grubauer. Now he's their Bauer. Goalie Philip Grubauer signing a 6-year, $35 million deal with the Kraken. The Devils are giving former Carolina defenseman Dougie Hamilton $63 million over 7 seasons. And Blake Coleman taking his camping gear to Calgary for 6 years and $27 million. DA, back to you.
Well done. When we come back here on the show, we've got our Olympic Minute. Newbie, diaper alien Pat Boyle is in. Now, Pat has filled in for Pete the Body Bilotti this week on the Wheels of Steel. And Mraz turned to the bullpen and said, okay, kid, let's see what you got. And so our Olympic Minute is delivered by Pat coming up here next. His first true on-air segment on the mothership. No pressure. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
Good value, big upside.
Marash is the only kid in 27 years that came in and bunted in Whipple Bowl games just to get on first base. So then that's true. So I vividly remember that one.
It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
46 minutes past the hour. You can always watch the DA show on watchda.com. The simulcast is cooking as we are pressing buttons and pulling levers, and it's live and sparkling Technicolor and mobile friendly as well. Watchda.com to watch the show each and every morning. And you can also watch on Twitch. Go to Twitch's CBS Sports Radio channel to watch us there as well. A burgeoning controversy now on the DA, which nobody does internal controversy in sports radio quite like us. An account called DA on CBS Quotes, which effectively just writes out our most ridiculous statements in Twitter form every single morning and is not affiliated with the show, strung together a series of GIFs this morning that are all pretty incredible doppelgangers of us on the show on the faces of Olympians. And to me, they're so good, it's hysterical, but they're not so good you'd actually think that it's a fake, it's a deep fake. But now the Wizard of Watch DA, Andrew Kaplan, is claiming, Mraz, that these are deep fakes. So I don't know. I don't think they are. I'm studying them. Mine might be, but I don't think the three of yours are.
I just don't believe it. And the only reason I'm doubting myself is because that's how much trust I have in Andrew Kaplan when it comes to all of the, I guess, wizardry, you would say, online of the gifts and whatnot. But, like, whatever that tennis player is, that's not actually Andrew Bogusch. I don't know how that would be a deep fake. That just looks like somebody similar. The Bilotti swimmer doesn't actually look like Pete. It just looks like somebody who looks like Pete. And me, if he was going deep fake technology, to me, this is the smoking gun. Why wouldn't I be a diver or something like that? Why am I a man with plungers on my nipples putting out a lighter? At that point, you've committed to 3 other Olympians. Why can't I be an Olympian?
Well, maybe for the bit.
No. I refuse to believe this.
Kaplan believes that DA on CBS Quotes is using a Russian face swap app.
I mean, Cap would know if there's a Russian face swap app.
Well, now I'm all sorts of twisted and turned around. Now I don't know what to believe. And you're angry that DA on CBS Quotes could be deep faking us. However, DA on CBS Quotes didn't claim that they weren't deep fakes. So if they are, it's not like it's false advertising.
All right, so yes, that's true, but, and this is the big but, for me, my anger comes from, then just make me an Olympian. I will never be an Olympian in my life. Bogusch gets to play tennis, and I can't fence or something like that? I gotta be plunger nipple boy putting out a lighter? That's not fair.
It is on brand, though. Speaking of the Olympics, it is time for this morning's Olympic Minute with the newly minted, at least for this week, on the Wheels of Steel, associate producer and engineer on the DA show, Pat Boyle.
All right, DA. Well, I am Pat Boyle. This is your Olympic Sports Minute, and we go to the hottest new Olympic sport there is. 3-on-3 basketball, making its debut at the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. It is quite possibly the most intense event in the entire Summer Games. Part punch-you-in-the-mouth street ball, part poetry in motion. This isn't your average pickup game at LA Fitness where old washed-up men and women, exaggerate their D3 basketball stats to each other before jumping on the court and putting on a display that would probably make even a Fergie national anthem seem pretty good. So the USA men apparently couldn't even assemble a 3-on-3 team. The regular 5-on-5 team can't even beat France.
Right.
So all of the red, white, and blues hopes rested on the women's inaugural 3-on-3 squad. Well, that was in serious jeopardy when Seattle Storm's Katie Lou Samuelson tested positive for COVID less than a week before the Olympics. So get this, Jackie Young of the Las Vegas Aces was in Florida enjoying a mini weekend vacation resting before the WNBA season resumes. She got a call at 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday night from USA Basketball Director Jay Demings asking if she wanted to have a chance at playing in the Olympics, not even guaranteeing her a spot. Why in the world Jackie Young answered a call from a random number at 10:30 on a Saturday night while on vacation is beyond me.
Fair point.
But the following morning, she hopped on a flight back to Las Vegas, had to take a COVID test, then take a 12-hour commercial flight to Tokyo. USA Basketball couldn't even get the poor girl a private jet for the Summer Olympics. However, you have to admire Young's persistence and I guess perhaps her lack of plans on a Saturday night while on vacation.
Right.
Because now, 10 days after that phone call, Jackie Young is an Olympic champion. The USA women took home the gold medal yesterday in 3-on-3 basketball, going on a run that saw them knock off the Russians or the Russian Olympic Committeans or whatever in Russian gulag hell you want to call them. So Jackie Young and the USA won 18-15, donning the gold medals alongside teammates Alicia Gray, Stephanie Dolson, and Kelsey Plum. No relation, I believe, of any sort to Princess Peach. Nice. D.A., Mraz, Bogish, wherever Pete Bellotti may be listening, and all the D-aliens, the real moral of the story is this. Answer your phone. Even when you're on vacation on a Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. to an unknown number. It could be a telemarketer asking if you're planning on selling your home. Could be a spam call trying to fish your credit card info and steal all of your money, cripple you financially, causing your wife and kids to leave you. Could be my favorite, a telemarketer asking about your car warranty, which causes fits of rage.
I get that quite a bit.
Yep, or it could even be an online company returning your inquiry for their new guaranteed-to-work sexual performance supplement. Even though I checked the box that said no phone calls, email only. They even asked, are you sure you don't want us to call? And I said, yes, don't call. I don't even think I hit submit on this survey. My girlfriend heard that call. Anyways, it could be the great US of A. Just knocking on your proverbial door, asking you to come win a gold medal.
Okay.
And for that, I will continue to answer and put up with the telemarketers for the love of the game. And for that, we thank you. And I'm Pat Boyle. This is your Olympic Sports Minute.
Pat Boyle in for Pete the Body Bellotti this morning and this week with your Olympic Minute. We are doing a cast of thousands with the Olympic Minute. Now, I am off tomorrow for a Summer Friday. Do you have an Olympic Minute lined up, or are you just going to do it yourself tomorrow?
Tomorrow is the great Billy Jacquelone.
Really?
How many Jacquelones does a Jacquelone weigh? We don't know, but the Olympic Sports Minute is coming to you from him tomorrow.
Wow. Okay, Billy Jacquelone. So you went out to the newsroom.
Well, where else was I going to go at the newsroom?
You can't even text anybody. Now you just have to, who's ever
That's
around,
not true.
whoever you can actually just say in person, hey, you want to jump on the air tomorrow?
Yeah, that's not how it went. But yeah, Billy Jacquelone's in. Sure, pal, let's do it.
How many no's are you getting to get to Billy Jacquelone?
No, not many no's, but I'm rolling out a red carpet. People wanted to see how this went this week and send them a bunch of samples. So I'm trying to get 5 samples in and let's get them out.
Okay, well, you got to include in that montage Pat's erectile dysfunction jokes. He did a whole bit on it. When we come back here on the DA Show, more on the Big 12 and SEC moves.